what distinguishes this particular approach that we call evolutionary astrology from every other style of astrology is it's really two things. One, it's absolute orientation to human freedom and the reality, not just belief, but the reality that it is our fate. So one of the few times I'm going to use that word. It's our fate at certain times to face certain possibilities, certain questions, certain potentials. Our fate as a nation and our fate as individuals. As soon as a kid is born, give me a date in the reasonable future, I'll talk about the questions, the possibilities, and the potentials that that child will be facing. But how the kid or the nation is going to answer those questions, I don't know. Have no idea. And I don't even feel the slightest desire to guess. Because as soon as I descend into that kind of guessing game about what's going to happen, I become a fortune teller. I have ignored the most fundamental basis of human dignity, which is our capacity to take responsibility for ourselves, our capacity to learn from our mistakes, our capacity to grow and change. So I've insulted somebody by making a prediction. Now, I have strong political feelings. I suspect many of you in the room do too. And I think it's part of being a good citizen and all that, you know, be engaged and think about it and get your heart in it. But I think as astrologers, the prime directive is respect for human diversity. Anybody who has trouble respecting human diversity has no business being an astrologer. And in fact, if anybody said, "Why is that so, Steve?" I'd be thinking, you have no business being an astrologer just because you had the question in your head. Astrology is nothing but a celebration of human diversity. And so we have no business telling people how to think or what to do and so on. So I'm just putting myself in kind of a, well, let me say, a growth opportunity here, because I'm going to try to look as neutrally as I possibly can, as warm-heartedly neutrally as I can, at what's going on in the chart of America at this point. This Sag rising chart is the one that just seems to resonate best with the personality of America in the world. Sagittarius rising, it can present itself in a lot of ways, but there's that Jupiter exuberance about it. America looking like cowboys, you know, sometimes wrong, but never in doubt. You know, I don't really want to make fun of Sagittarius, but that is the shadow side of it. That's sometimes wrong, but never in doubt, that kind of forward cowboy energy. And regardless of what you think of America, that's often how it's described from the outside. The Cancer sun, which is going to be very much a focal point of all of this, the strong orientation to family, the strong orientation to defense, the crab with its shell around it and its claws showing. For me, the corker, the definitive moment that really leaned me towards thinking this was probably the best chart we could use for America was the famous September 11th of 2001, when we had Pluto on the ascendant of this chart and Saturn on the descendant. You know, a rather intense moment in American history, of course, as we would expect as Pluto transited over the ascendant of a nation's chart, or of course an individual's chart. There is very likely to be some drama, and of course that prediction proved accurate. I want to begin by working with the fact that transiting Pluto is currently finishing up an opposition to the Cancer sun in America's chart. It's, of course, in the middle of Capricorn. And as it does so, it's entering the second house of the chart. Well, once more, it crossed into America's first house, conjuncted the ascendant back on 9/11, and now we see it having finished its passage through that first house and entering the second house. We'll have a lot to say about that, too. Got a huge amount of territory to cover here, and I want to move sort of fast because we have kind of a short night tonight. My agenda in doing this is to really just sort of demonstrate the approach that we take as evolutionary astrologers working specifically with transits. When we start ignoring that God-given capacity to grow and learn, we've damaged ourselves, and we've damaged anybody who's unfortunate enough to listen to us. So what do we do with these questions and possibilities and potentials? Well, as evolutionary astrologers, we look at them carefully, and we realize some of the answers to these questions are smarter than others. It's possible to make a dumb answer to any question, and that's a pretty popular choice in this world. It's also possible to make a wise answer, a life-affirming answer, a growth-oriented answer. So as evolutionary astrologers, we predict questions and we suggest answers. Within the limits of our wisdom, we try to aim the client, or in this case, the nation, to the higher ground. What does it look like if you get this right? What does it look like if you get it wrong? What are you going to do? Up to you. I don't know. That's the core practical philosophy of evolutionary astrology.